if it's a win for that person and it's a testimony to God, it's a win for you. It's a win for God. It's a win for her. It's a win for everybody. That's how I feel. Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Wender-Querio, and I'm a small town go-to girl next door who is obsessed with helping others see more for themselves so they can thrive in all areas of life. I love researching all the things like wellness, mindset, relationships, you name it. If I'm obsessed with it, I get hyper-focused on it and I research the crap out of it, and then I share it with you. If those are things that you're also obsessed with, then keep listening and let's become new best friends. Welcome to another episode of the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Wender-Querio, and today I just wanted to do an episode on jealousy. And I'll explain why this came to mind and why I wanted to do this episode, because I was chatting with somebody online and we were going back and forth. It was this woman online and she's a friend of mine. And I just realized this is really a problem and I've struggled with this. This friend of mine I'm talking to online is struggling with this or has at times. Obviously we're not always struggling with the same things, right? So we have seasons. So obviously if there's a situation in your life that making you feel a certain way, then you have to work through that and pray through that. So the topic that I'm talking about is the topic of jealousy and envy. So I just see this in a different way, but also I want to put it out there that I have never been that person. I have struggled with so many different things in my life, but as a child, I just was not born as a person or a girl who was jealous of other people around me. You can ask my mom. I just was not that kid. I just wanted everyone to do well and I wanted everyone to succeed. And I mean, obviously, you guys, if you've been following me on social media for any period of time or listen to other episodes of this podcast, I want to tell you everything I know. I want to tell you any hack I find out, or even if it's something as stupid as an ice roller for your face that helps with a hangover or whatever it is. I always want to share what I know. And I remember even this one time, this is kind of in my, I think I was in high school. So that age, maybe a little bit older. I guess I didn't realize that this was something that a lot of people struggle with, because you know how that is when you don't struggle with something and you are talking with somebody else and you're like, that's I didn't even think about that way. Here's an example of that. So I started working out and I was really known as the lazy girl when I was growing up. So this was for me to be working out, it was a thing, right? Wait, what? You're working out and you're not going to eat fast food? I was turning over a new leaf, changing my ways, and I started working out and I started to eat healthy. I was like that girl in high school and middle school that I won a t-shirt at a restaurant for eating you have those big eating competition t-shirts that you can win at restaurants. I've won one of those. That's the level of health I was at growing up. So when I started working out and eating clean and I noticed a difference. Not that I had a lot of weight to lose. I just wanted to feel strong and be fit, because you can be thin or not have a lot of weight to lose, but not be healthy at all, by the way. And that's where I was at. And so I started this workout and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm seeing results. And look at my arms and my stomach and my legs. I was start for the first time, seeing these results, because I never worked out before. So I was very, very excited. And then I started reading books on nutrition. And I read this book called Skinny Bitch. And that was kind of what was it was eye-opening to me. Not that I'm not saying I agree with everything that's in that book. That was just my first book that I read on nutrition that was eye-opening for me, that I was just are you kidding me? What we put in our body matters. And this is what's going on in our food industry and what we're putting in our. So anyways, long story short, let's get to the point. Okay. I got to get to the point. Let me get back on track. I was going for a walk with a friend, and that friend was also doing the same workout program as me. It was DVDs, whatever. And that person was just I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to tell so-and-so about this because it works so well. And I want to tell so-and-so and this person and that person. Like, that's me. As you guys know, I want to tell everybody about the things that I find that work for me. And that person said to me in this moment during our walk, this person said, no, 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 don't tell that person. I don't want anyone else to know what we're doing that's working. Almost like it's a gatekeeping situation. And now, obviously, I'm a lot older now, and I've noticed that a lot in my life since that day. But that was the first time growing up where I really, not the first time I ever heard somebody act that way or think that way or speak those type of words, but it was the first time that I was just like, it registered in my brain that like, people struggle with jealousy. That person didn't want to tell anybody else about what we were doing because they didn't want that person to also get results and like one up us or something. Okay, so let's just talk about jealousy. This can happen a lot for women because I think women are more likely to maybe not overthink, but think about things, like really analyze things and think things through. And like, not that dudes don't, this isn't like whatever, because I know a lot of dudes that also struggle with jealousy and envy as well. But guys just deal with it in a different way. They kind of get very competitive about it. Some guys do. They'll get competitive and like it'll push them to try to like compete or something, which I'm not saying that's healthy either. Run your own race. So, anyway, so when I was talking with this woman online, I just thought to myself, I'm going to share my 2 cents on this. And not that I'm somebody who has, not that I've never struggled, because I've had people betray me in my past, like in relationships and, certain things like that, that definitely made me maybe more insecure in that way. Or maybe like think things in a different way. Like, wait, should I be jealous because this person is betraying me? Obviously, that's not a situation I'm in now, so it's completely different. So let me just give you my 2 cents on this topic of jealousy. Here's what I think. First of all, when you start to see other women succeeding, let's just start here. When you start seeing other women hitting their goals, or you see somebody else got married and had a baby and now is living in a beautiful house, or you see like somebody working out and you guys are both working out but they're getting success and results faster than you, or this happens a lot in business, or if you're comparing online where you're like, oh my gosh, like I started after that person, creating a brand, or started my blog, or started into a network marketing business, or started into digital marketing, or whatever it is. Okay. And maybe you started first or like whatever, and that person is just taking off so much quicker than you are and like surpassing you, even though you started before them, or like whatever it is, or that person has the marriage and whatever that is for you. I want you to hear this. God's timing is perfect, even though it can be hard to understand. God is never late. There is a reason. There is a reason why you haven't found the one yet. You don't have to try to manhandle the situation and be upset every single day. Like, why don't I have this? This person has this. This person found their a relationship and they're now getting married and having a baby, and I'm still alone, or my relationship just ended. If you are somebody that is very confident, you don't have insecurities, you don't struggle with self-worth, then I would just like skip through this ad. But if you do struggle, keep listening. I'll keep it short and sweet, I promise. So if you are somebody who struggles with your self-worth, lacks confidence, doesn't see yourself the way other people see you, and maybe have self-limiting beliefs, and maybe fear has held you back, or you feel stuck. You have that dream, you have that idea that you want to do, but you just never do it because you feel stuck. If that is you, keep listening, because I created the foundation course. I called this the foundation course because that's what it is. It is the foundation that you need to thrive in all areas of your life. And that is my life purpose, to mentor women. And this is what I've been doing for the last 15 years, is mentoring women, helping them believe in themselves and build that confidence and give them all the tools that they need, the foundation that they need to thrive in all areas of their life. In this course, we go over mindset, goal setting, how to build your confidence, how to find your purpose. We will go over self-worth, having an abundance mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. We go over it all across 9 modules, over 28 lessons, and I'm always adding bonus lessons into that foundation course, and you get lifetime access to it. So if that is something that you're interested in, head over to mindywender.com because we are having a sale on the foundation course right now. It's usually priced at $249, and right now you can grab the course and have lifetime access to it for $199. So just head over to mindywender.com to take advantage of this sale. Okay, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, for example, people that are like, oh my gosh, I just wish that I was like, I'm just gonna use this as an example because I'm somebody who's divorced. So somebody could have been looking at me and like, oh my gosh, Mindy has such a beautiful life. She has a successful business. She has 3 beautiful children. She's married. She has a beautiful home. They vacation, whatever. So outside looking in, what if you were somebody, struggling with jealousy because you were comparing your life to mine and wondering why your business wasn't taking off as fast as mine, or you didn't have the marriage and the whatever. But then a year down the road, that person, for example, me, gets a divorce. So you see what I mean? So it's just like that was part of my story. This is part of yours. We all have our different struggles. We all are on a different journey. So you have to remember that God's timing is perfect, even though it can be hard to understand. And you have to remind yourself because these doubts are going to creep up to you when you're wondering why your business isn't taking off, or you're not in that relationship of your dreams, or your income still isn't growing, or whatever it is. Or, I mean, it could be a million different things. Tell yourself this, write this in your note section of your phone so you can be reminded of this over and over and over, that God is never late. There is a reason that you don't have what you have, what you desire yet. Maybe it's not what God has called for you, or maybe it's not the right time yet, or maybe God has so much more in store for you. Another example that I wanted to share with you is my friend who is a business. So we both were in the same business years ago, okay? And we both were successful in this business and all these things. She ended up going off and starting a different business, like online, coaching other entrepreneurs online. And so from year to year, we're going to do a year in comparison. She was wondering like, oh man, my business isn't where I think it should be. And so she had a sale during a time of year, and I think she sold like 2 items, 2 courses or whatever it was she was selling. I can't remember, masterclass or something. She sold 2 during that sale. Okay, and then she also had a course launching, and she does her course. When I do my course, I pre-record him because I just feel like then you can just go at the course. It's self-led and you can go at it at your own pace. She does hers live. So like she has to get all these people in to the course she's doing, and then they launch it, and on launch day is like their first lesson, their first module of the class or of the course, okay? She had 2 people sign up for one of her courses. And her team said to her, do you want to go through and still do this, or should we push back the date? What do you want to do? And she said, no, I am going to act like I'm going to give my all to these 2 people like I would if I had 100 people signed up. And so she stayed the course. She kept her blinders on, stayed the course. Now, less than a year after that point, she had another launch to a course she was doing, a different course. And she did $100,000 in sales in like 3 days for that course. And I might be getting that wrong. Let's just say it was 7 days. Let's just say it was a month. $100,000 in sales launch. That's God's timing. Now, if she would have said, I must not be meant for this because these coaches around me are just taking off, or I should be at this level and I'm not, and just gave up or questioned that, what that would have done is made her lose confidence in herself, made her question all the things that she was putting out. It just would hold her back from where she was being led to go by God, and God's timing was perfect. And she stayed the course, and now she knows he is never late. So the other thing I want to mention is having faith means not knowing why God's not giving you what you want. Maybe you launched a book or a course or whatever, the relationship, whatever it is. And I'm telling you, God's timing's perfect, even though it's hard to understand. That's what faith is. Faith is that you don't have to understand because he knows what's best for you. I'm sorry, but I just have to tell you, I'd rather God in control. He knows all of the things. He created me. He made me so unique and gave me all these gifts. I want him to decide. I want him to play a role in where I'm going with my life and what's taking off and what's not taking off. And especially when it comes to relationships, the person who you're going to marry and be with for the rest of your life, you want God's hand in that. You don't want to manhandle it and be in control of that situation. You want to have discernment and listen for God's voice to lead you in the right direction. And that's what faith is, though, is not knowing why you haven't had a 100K launch, or that you haven't met that person yet. And you don't, all your friends around you are getting married and having babies and have the homes, and you just haven't found that person yet. That's what faith is not knowing why and just trusting that God's better at making these decisions than we are. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I want to say is, if you ever feel jealous or are comparing yourself, like, why am I not as far as her? I want you to ask yourself this simple question. How could I be jealous of something God is doing that is amazing and beautiful in somebody else's life? So again, let's go back to all the examples I just gave you. Let's just say I was looking at that coach that I said online, because I have courses, I have master classes, I have an ebook, I have a journal that I created, I have businesses, right? I have Airbnbs, right? So I could be looking at other people that have Airbnbs and wondering why. Like, also, I'm looking at their highlight reels, right? I'm looking at social media, kind of like what I said. People could have been like, oh, about my situation. And then I ended up getting a divorce. We just never know. So we're looking at these highlight reels of people, and I could be like, why is my Airbnb isn't as successful as hers? Or why isn't my course business having a 100K launch or anything like that? I could be thinking that, but I ask myself the question, how could I be jealous of something that God is doing that is amazing and beautiful in somebody else's life? Because if it's a win for that person and it's a testimony to God, it's a win for you, it's a win for God, it's a win for her, it's a win for everybody. That's how I feel. So if I ever have those, and like I said, I've never been that person who struggles with that, and I still don't, but sometimes it's not like I'm jealous of that person, like, oh, she shouldn't have that, and like in a negative way. But what I think is, I sometimes will look in business only. This is where maybe it's my competitive nature, but in business only, what I will do is I will just more so, if I let myself go there and if I'm not on my game, because this is what happens when you're not on your game and you're not reading your Bible and all those things. What can happen is you let these things come into your life. Or if you've opened doors, that might be an open door to like the devil or some demonic stuff to come in to plant these lies in your brain saying, look at this person. Why didn't you have a 100K launch? Look at that person. Why aren't you married yet? That's, if you are listening to bad music, like that's demonic stuff. Or if you, and I'm not saying I'm not trying to go on a tangent here. I'm just saying, if you're opening doors, and I'm not saying music is bad, dude, I love music so much, so much. But I'm just saying, I just am like, wait. Why am I, if I'm not a naturally jealous person, if I'm not somebody who am, and I'm like questioning. So what I do is, like I said, I'm not like, well, that person shouldn't have it in a mean way. I question myself. So the devil knows that he can't get to me through jealousy. He knows that I will, more likely how he can get to me is by making me doubt and make me question if I'm able to do this, if I'm able to whatever. And that's why I always tell you guys, self-worth and self-confidence and your belief within yourself is a daily job. And that's why I do affirmations daily. That's why I'm always working on personal growth. That's why I'm feeding the doors I am opening is like doors that are feeding me and keeping me on track. So I'm not allowing something that I do struggle with, where if I not all the time, but if I open up a door and let a thought in, it can run wild. You guys know how that is. I'm sure you've been there. So that is like my weakness, right? Where I won't be jealous of what somebody else has. I'm like, it's a win for us all. But I'm like, but why am I not there? I must not be good enough. Am I not doing this enough? I always feel like here I'm this is a therapy session. I feel like I'm on the couch, but my thing is that I struggle with and that I'm working on is my self-worth. And this is I'm going to do a whole episode on this, but I'm just not ready yet. But the reason why I struggle with this I don't know the reason. This is why we're putting a pin in it till I work through some things. But like I can reach the top of whatever it is I'm doing and I can hit all the goals and I can be in the top 5. Like I remember being like a goal I set for myself is to be like these crazy goals. I don't know, but again, working through some things. But I was in the top 5, one of the top 5 top earning um people in the company I was in. And for 5 consecutive years, I was in the 0.001% and in the top 20. And I was just like I was doing all these things. I was asked out of, I mean, 300, 400,000 people. I was the one asked to get on the main stage in front of 30,000 people to speak on mindset and belief and when life throws you curveballs, how to overcome it and just all of these things. And every time I would hit one of these goals and be be achieving it, I'd never felt fulfilled. And it's like I always thought, well, I could be better. I could be better. Well, I'm not number 1. I'm not the best at that. I could be doing more. And so like that's something that I struggle with. And so the devil knows that. And so whatever it is you're struggling with, and this is for the person that has ever, because again, we all have our moments where we struggle with jealousy or envy, that this is for you. Okay. So this is what I ask myself is how could I be jealous of something God is doing that is amazing and beautiful in somebody else's life? Because if it's a win for that person, it's a win for me and because it's a win for God and it's a win for us all. Okay. So let me end this by saying this. We are all created so uniquely perfect. We have our own gifts. We have our own, like, when it comes to beauty is inside and out. We are all have our own strengths and weaknesses. We are all have the thing. God's fair is what I say. God is fair. If somebody has the most perfect abs, there's something else going on. Trust me, because God is fair. We are all unique. We all have our gifts. So other people don't have not there is nobody else that has what you have. You are unique in such a way that there's nobody else on the planet that is like you. And you have to own that and remind yourself of that. Just like I have to work through the self-worth stuff and whatever, and that's what I struggle through. You have to work on whatever it is that your weakness is and that you struggle with. And remind yourself that God made you so uniquely, perfectly you and has given you gifts that not nobody else has exactly what you have to offer other people. So if you are at like an event or a party or whatever and somebody else that is just so beautiful and so pretty walks into the room, how does that make you feel? Cuz it might not make you feel any sort of way, but if there is somebody listening that it does make you feel a sort of way, you have to remind yourself that that person walking in the room that is so pretty and everyone turns their head to check them out and look at them and whatever, you got to remember that other people have nothing to do with you. And this is what I've been working on too with self-worth is that just because somebody else has a 100K launch, see, I'm not jealous in some ways, but like comparing that I'm not good enough is just if somebody has a 100K launch or somebody is married and has babies and you don't yet, whatever it is, those people don't have nothing to do with you and your life and your story. Just because they have whatever that is, a 100K lunch, a marriage and babies, whatever that is, finding the one in a relationship, having beautiful hair, nice lips, whatever it is, it doesn't take anything away from you because they have that. There is room for everybody at the top. There is room for everyone to be beautiful. There is room for everyone to have great hair and great skin and all of the things. Beauty is so much more than great skin and nice lips and great hair and all of those things. You guys know that. I mean, it's all about who you are in the inside. But what I'm saying is somebody else being beautiful doesn't take anything away from you and somebody else being funny doesn't take something anything away from you. Somebody else being successful doesn't take anything away from you because it has nothing to do with you and your story and your journey and the path that God has you on. So, I hope that this helps you. If this is something that you struggled with, I highly recommend just popping it, like clicking the share button, sharing it with some friends or putting it up on your story and just recommending it to other women or other people because a lot of the things as I was just talking, I was like, "Oh, I had an ex-boyfriend in the past that was always jealous when I would laugh at other dudes because like somebody else being funny doesn't take away anything from you being funny. So it could help anybody. Just I would recommend and I would ask you to please share this on your social media. And I hope this was helpful for you. And if it was, please go to obsessed or not interested and just comment on my recent posts and or shoot me a DM and we can have more of a conversation there. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you next week. Seriously, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I love connecting with you on social media. So if you guys want, please shoot me a DM at either our podcast Instagram, which is at Obsessed or Not Interested, or even my personal Instagram, which is at Mindy Wender. I check them both, so either is fine. Oh, and truly, if this has helped you even 1%, if you could do me a huge solid and leave me a rating and review, that would mean the world to me. When you guys do that, here's why I really love it. It's because it helps the podcast be able to reach more women who want and need this. So truly, that is like the best compliment you could ever give me is just leaving ratings and reviews for this podcast. Anything that I talked about in today's episode, any links or resources, you will find that in the show notes. Thank you for listening to today. Can't wait to chat more in the DMs, and don't forget to tune in next Tuesday.